I think, you know, we're wanting to see, it's surprising to say, wanting to see a little bit more Draven, and we get a Master Yi matchup at the same time. So days gone by would be like, ooh, another Draven matchup. But actually, at this point in the tournament, we've seen not so much on featured match.
Yeah, on featured match, I think this is the second or third time, if I'm not mistaken. Master Yi is also appearing minimum the second time. At least today, it's the second time. And Master Yi is absolutely making some appearances in the top tables. In the round before, the top table was Barczyk playing against Azir, and that was essentially Master Yi versus Azir, but I also seen two other Master Yis as well in the top tables. So Master Yi mid-range deck is actually making a splash. But let's talk about this Draven mid-range. Anything surprising over here?
I'm looking through.
There's a Teemo.
There is a Teemo. That
highest Teemo ever been.
Best of Teemo. No, not really, because you're not in the chosen champion zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few different things here that are just, you know, standard in different lists of Draven. I always am surprised, even though it is normal to see Edge of Night, I'm always like, oh, there's an Edge of Night in there. Like, we do see it from time to time. It's been in a lot of the mid-range decks since the deck was made.
Yeah, there's potentially a lot of hidden cards here. We have Tide Turner, we have Edge of Night, we have the Teemo, we have something else?
Switcheroo can be hidden.
Yeah, Switcheroo. Well. So that's 4 potential different options when it comes to the hidden cards. So there's a lot that has to be played around once a card is hidden. So this is why you have so many one-offs as well, to just make your opponent question yourself. And
let's come back to Teemo in-game. Let's talk about that as well, because I think I have some thoughts on that as we look at Master Yi this time around. One thing to know, that we're not on Unleashed. This is not quite the Master Yi that we're looking for today, as Master Yi still the one from Proving Grounds. There we go. The one that gives +2 to a unit when it is defending. Let's take a little look at the list. I'm assuming it's going to be fairly standard as well. From what we've seen.
It's a little bit different.
Okay.
This one is, let's say, a lot of people are innovating in a way they're implementing, like, for example, Irelia Fervent.
Okay, yeah.
So that's one of the inclusions. And here we have a little more previous metagame version where we do have Ruin Runners, mostly, right? And then the Navori Scout is a 4 energy drop with no power cost.
Yes, you were talking about that yesterday a little bit. Is that the reasoning, is you don't deramp to play a Navori Scout compared to some other unit?
Well, definitely you're trying to put that to battle like Kxmzzy, for example.
Okay.
You know, it's like this is a very annoying unit for Kxmzzy to deal with, right? Because 4 HP, 4 might is not an easy number to get with removal.
Right.
And then the deflect essentially makes almost every single spell just super clunky to use against it. So it's a very just weird unit to deal with as a Kxmzzy, for example, against a Master Yi. That was one of the main reasons why I have it in the metagame. But in this case, Irelia Fervent is just another step in that evolution, right? We know that Ruin Runner is just a little bit awkward because of the 6 cost, and it's like you cannot deramp at any point in the previous, if you're going first, like you cannot deramp if you ever want to play him on turn 3, for example. So you're a little bit more restrained in a way that you have to play the game. And with Irelia Fervent, sorry to cut you off, with Irelia Fervent, you don't have to do anything because she doesn't have a power cost, and she has a similar role to Navori Scout and to Ruin Runner.
But in this deck, right, it's the Navori Scout version rather than Irelia. So that's something that we may see later throughout the rest of the day. We're talking a little bit about Teemo, and while we have a stack deck resolving, I want to kind of bring back just one benefit maybe of a Teemo. One of the things that made Draven really annoying to play against is things like Spinning Axe that can't be countered, where it's like you add power to a battlefield that can't be defied or can't be riposted or can't be, you know, insert counterspell here. Teemo fulfills a similar spot where he's going to add 4 might to a battlefield and just out of nowhere come out, okay, I'm going to turn this a little bit. I don't necessarily think it is a must play or anything like that, but when I'm looking at what would the reasons be to run a Teemo, that feels like another version of that effect.
It also has a synergy with the Draven Legend because it adds another body, which makes it easier for you to win a combat and stay relevant on the battlefield to draw a card.
Right.
Yeah, so Teemo is nice as a just adding a little bit of spice in the potential hidden cards, essentially. Another thing I wanted to talk about here, we have Forge of the Fluffed for the Draven as the first battlefield, and the reason for that is because we can now swap the position of the spinning axe, for example,
oh, that's
to be
nice.
on a safe unit, so it doesn't get like overrun. Because you see from the board state alone that maybe like the unit with the spinning axe will lose, so you can move your spinning axe to a unit that is in the base.
But this is one of the unique things about Riftbound, where Schorn, I was looking at their battlefields. They run Forge of the Fluft as well, and in this matchup, you're like, oh well, I will utilize that Forge of the Fluft, and has tapped the Master Yi in order to attach the Trinity Force. So we'll kind of skip a little bit of the D ramp that perhaps you might expect to have come through on that.
It's actually incredibly impactful over here when you think about it, because not only you save the one energy, right, but you force your opponent to do something about this hold. Otherwise, you're getting 2 points,
and that will be 2.
Case, yeah, that's the thing that is happening right now, and Schorn is getting just 2 points with this one Sand Soldier.
So now you get to have 6 runes on this turn rather than the 5 where you...
Wait, is it a Trinity Force that is being played underneath it?
I think so, wasn't it? We were showing Trinity Force in the bottom right. Apologies if that wasn't correct on my side. I just assumed...
I just assumed, that you were right.
It was.
But
and we were showing it. There is one in hand, so that very well may be... And he has gone up to 3. Yeah, it must be. Okay.
I was like a little bit uncertain because we didn't go to 3.
We are trying to win the game quick with a hold.
You cannot have 2 Trinity Forces in League of Legends. No? So this is like game-breaking.
Tons of winning points on this. Now, two runes up. 2 runes in a Master Yi. So there are quite a few things. That is a Kxmzzy, of course, is going to be able to get into the battlefield. Ooh, but not too much that's going to help. Not too much to break this.
We have 6 energy, I think. No, 7. So we can play a Darius into a 2-drop, in this case whether we a Teemo, or Ride the Wind to try to combat the Sand Soldier with the 6 might. But the problem is there's 2 open energy, potentially a Punch First, a Discipline, maybe Unguard, maybe 2 Unguards, right? So when you count the amount of might that can be added with 2 energy for a Master Yi is pretty high. Like, worst case scenario, it's actually +7. Punch First and On Guard.
Yeah, and you know, this is a really, really rare circumstance. Wow, that's actually just Ferris Forerunner.
Oh my.
Just accepting that my opponent's going to 6. This is a very rare situation where your own battlefield choice is going to bite you really quick in a game. We don't often see this. Like this
We've seen it yesterday, but it was like chunked.
Yeah, but it's never this fast, where you're like, I play a battlefield and my opponent is going to 6.
It was
really
like Grove of the Godwillow,
Force.
draw multiple cards, and win the War of Attrition.
The reason I want to say that's impactful, yes, you probably could have played 2 Trinity Force anyway, but not deramping is what allows you to have the extra resources available there, to have 2 up and play around that. And now on this turn, you can just get to play whatever you want. Make sure that you have control over the battlefields. And this is a really tough spot. So I understand it's Ferris Forerunner to represent a push on the next turn. Obviously, you lose if you don't dethrone this Sand Soldier on the battlefield. So,
of course, like the Sand Soldier here represents 6 when it comes to like spells and stuff. But when it comes to defense, it's going to be an 8 as well, right? So,
yep.
When I was saying like +7 from the hand, you have to... I completely forgot to mention that the +2 basic from Master Yi as well.
Yeah, that is one of those effects that is really easy not to count for. Okay, so this is saying you actually need to take both battlefields this turn. So now it depends, how big can that Sand Soldier get? That is, was that...
The Sand Soldier now is going to be a 6 on defense, if it's going to stay there. And Poro is also going to be a 6 on defense on Viamar's Lair. So now, I really like this play by Schorn, because it sets up, like, it diversifies his win condition.
2 roads to winning off this, and you have to answer both of them.
1 point, right, in this case. And it doesn't matter if he holds it with the Trinity Force or not, but he just divides the amount of might that is on both battlefields. So it's very clunky for, how do we read his name? Kxmzzy?
Yeah, let's go with that. And this is a direct result of battlefield choices for Draven in Game 1 being banned out. Reaver's Row was always one that you could reliably say, okay, maybe I'm playing that Game 1. There were other choices that you could make. But having to swap to other battlefields has put us in a situation where, okay, I'll try Forge of the Fluft.
Maybe we could have chosen a different one. You know, you never have to start with the same one.
True.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I think foreseeing this down the rabbit hole of Double Trinity Force is
not that easy.
Yeah, exactly.
So both of those units now are representing a trade with the Ferris Forerunner. And you have to deal with both units, because otherwise you're just straight up losing, right? Kxmzzy is not strong enough to go through the defenses of any of the units on the battlefield. And so those are 2 drops, by the way.
So it's Darius plus what as an option? I haven't been paying attention to...
There's also Ride the Wind.
Kxmzzy's hand.
Which can like help Darius untap.
Activate the
+2, yeah. We have the Darius.
There is Darius. So 4 remaining up. So there are options. Like, this game isn't over completely. It does depend, as you said, there's a Ride the Wind.
But the problem is that even though if you break those battlefields right here and you don't lose this turn, you still have to play around what your opponent's going to be doing next turn. And next turn is like most likely
Master Yi from the champion zone, and then throw the Trinity Force back on it as well.
So how do you deal with that then, right? And now you still have to calculate. Your opponent has free energy open, was almost not spending anything. Like he didn't use any spells before, essentially.
Yeah.
So do you think he doesn't have anything in hand? It is a possibility, but you have to calculate that as well.
Oh, Thwonk. There were a lot of cards that were painful in this moment, and Thwonk is perhaps the most brutal to just say, well, now you just got a Kaiser at 4, so what else have you got? Hard bargain comes through, and that's going to get repeated.
I love the hand gesture. He's like, okay, you got me here.
Yeah. That is key. I saw 4 going, and I was like, you don't need to repeat it, and luckily he realizes he doesn't either. There's only 1 rune available for Schorn. So now what else is there? 1 there. If there is a punch first in hand, it kind of has to be now. Or you could save it for the Lonely Pro if you really wanted to, but that Darius does untap from the hard bargain. We'll get the extra +2 might as well. I hope our players don't end up forgetting that. That's a significant change in this game.
Who's dying here? The Kaiser's dying to deny the card draw.
And also to deny the 2 mechs, right? The 2 bodies, the other side.
As there are, actually, would be giving back the Draven a little bit of tempo in this position. So that's something that Schorn doesn't want to do. And it's a very smart assessment of the situation in the board state. Now, we see a 7 attack to 6 might.
On guard.
And that's the on guard. And if you don't have anything...
There's a Ride the Wind, right?
You can Ride the Wind the Ferris Forerunner and help out. But you kind of have to.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what else is in the hand. I mean, I see units. Yeah, it's going to be Ride the Wind.
Yep.
Ferris Forerunner comes over. Will, of course, put this battlefield now in favor of our Draven player.
The thing is now that you cannot move those units back, because this is Viamar's lair as well.
Oh, wow, so that is huge. Yeah, you're so right.
You can, I feel like what can happen here is Schorn might not kill any unit. Wait, he decided to kill it.
Which is going to give the 2 mechs, right? But if you kill the Darius and the Forerunner...
No, you cannot kill the... well, you could. You could kill the Darius, right? Because he used
you're on guard. So
and
you should be up above the Darius.
So I'm a little bit surprised.
To give the mechs, because otherwise Forerunner is stuck on the Viamours, and you'd end up in a situation.
Anyway, let's go forward. Mechs are now in base. There's also a hidden card.
It could be 4 cards now. It could be Switcheroo, Teemo,
Switcheroo, and the Edge of Night.
Edge of Night, yeah. We got that. it's a quiz on which of the cards are still hidden.
So, in the worst case scenario is +4 might for Master Yi when it comes to breaking that battlefield. He's completely tapped out. It's a 5 on defense. And so it can go up to 9. I'm not certain, though, that Schorn will even calculate that there might be a +4. He will probably just say +3 with the Edge of Night. But now he's drawing a card from Conquering the Forge of the Fluff.
From being a 7. And honestly, through all of this, I kind of had missed that there was a first mate there as the second unit. Because I was thinking, oh, you got to conquer both this turn. But that's not too difficult when a Master Yi is going to come in readied. It's just down to the hidden card. And in this situation, in the old meta, you'd think fight or flight. But in the new meta, you have to consider other options. We gave you the 4 choices from it. Which is it? Gonna reveal a hidden Teemo.
It's a Teemo.
And now it's just down to, is there enough power left in the hand of Schorn to get this conquer through combat tricks and end up winning the game? So Teemo gets played, I believe that's 9?
Yeah, that is 9. I wonder if there are any like counter spells for Schorn. Also, one of the reasons why maybe he allowed the Feathers Forerunner to die last turn was to essentially force the defender to do something first, because otherwise he would be attacking 6 into 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the calculation as well?
Why.
So you know that you're attacking with both. I think that's actually the line that you're talking about. So attacking into a 5.
See, that's why I'm never saying someone made a mistake on the broadcast, because I might just be missing something. Someone else might be missing something. Maybe there's a complete different line of play.
Whoa, no combat trick in hand. Is there something else, though, that can be played out? We haven't seen Schorn's hand in a while. I do the same thing where I stack my hand on the table. I realize how annoying that can be when you're trying to see what's in the hand.
We didn't utilize any of the Trinity forces, though. Am I missing something?
Yeah, am I missing something? Were they on the battlefield? Did they go to trash? Did they accidentally go to trash when the units were picked up? And he should
No, they're here.
Oh, they are?
He's attaching them right now.
Them.
But I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't attach it to Master Yi.
For the might.
For the attack.
He did control Forge of the Fluff.
You saw his body language. I feel like he just maybe forgot about it.
Moment. You're right. Because you had Forge of the Fluff, could have utilized it while
for 0 as well, and then pay for the other one before attacking. But yeah, let's assume that maybe he had a different.
Yeah.
But okay, so now we get to 5 points from Kxmzzy, or Kxmzzy. The K is silent.
And the X is silent.
Yeah, as well.
It's one of those.
We're scooping it?
Are we scooping? We'll get confirmation. I see the game tally has been added to Schorn's side of things, so it looks like like there wasn't enough in order to disrupt that battlefield with the hold on the Trinity forces. So apologies for losing a little bit of track of that end game. I think Schorn was surprised to get to 7 points quite so quickly after that.
Yes.
And so were we, if I'm being
caught off guard.
So were we. I was not quite expecting it to go that quickly. As now we look for game 2. So Draven in the sideboard. I have to feel like. So first of all, this is Schorn's sideboard for the Master Yi. So what do you bring in at this point? Not so many spells that you'd want to counter. We were talking about exactly that with the spinning axes and maybe Teemo, that type of thing.
Well, it feels like to some degree we didn't get a lot of information from this game as well. So the amount of sideboarding that can happen from Master Yi's side is actually not that big. It's more on Kxmzzy's over here, who's gonna probably go into the Mind Splitters. Like, the information is so crucial, specifically when you play against the decks that are green and they're like having those tricks in their hands, right?
Would you say that was kind of a warped game 1? Because I think
definitely.
if you only look at game 1, you'd be like, well, gear removal makes sense. But I don't think game 2 is going to play out in the same way. So you don't want it, right? And that's my point, is like, somebody that maybe doesn't know this matchup might look at it and say, well, the Trinity forces were the problem. Well, maybe only in that isolated incident.
Correct.
But you have to draw them and then have the ability to play them. So I agree on the Mind Splitters. Definitely seems like one way to go.
And if the removal for the gear is gonna be 1 thermal beam, it's like, oh, that's a super expensive card. So to like affect 1 card from your opponent,
not worth it.
That might be played even before you have a chance to use the thermal beam. So that's one of the things that you have to consider as well. And in many cases, like, okay, there might be a Guardian Angel, and that's probably more important. But then it's like the board state is affected more by the Guardian Angel, even though it's a less expensive card than the Trinity Force. You know?
And I guess you play spinning axes. You play Edge of Night, so you kind of don't want to thermo beam. Yeah, it's really awkward. Really, a strange game 1 in order to come into a game 2 and decide how you're going to change it. Wouldn't be surprised to see Forge of the Fluff here from Master Yi.
And we said it might not go the same way.
It might not. We'll see what we are going on to for game 2 as we update.
Schorn is very animated with his reactions.
I love that, though. I like that.
There is the Forge of the Fluff. Second one. Okay, so we have Targan speaking to Forge of the Fluff.
If it happens again,
I
would be so surprised.
Deja vu? Are we in the Matrix?
didn't get to see the hand. It's okay. No Trinity Forces now, so
Does
we have to come off the top.
This is actually a decent hand.
Yeah, this is like a consistent hand. Is my feeling on that. You got a turn 1 play, you got good turn 2 plays. On the other side, Draven playing Overzealous Fan turn 1. I think is like the quintessential Spirit Forge turn to open the game.
All right, now we have. It's so different when you don't see a windmill slam of a Draven Vanquisher on turn 2. It's just like sometimes it was a consideration. Oh, maybe I'll just play him on the battlefield alongside the fan, you know?
Yeah. But that felt so brutal to try and play around.
So now we have the trigger from Targon's Peak. We're gonna get 2 energy up. Oh, there is the thermal beam.
The thermal beam.
Okay.
Wow.
We do have a spinning axe as well, so we'll probably try to utilize the axe before we have the chance of using the thermal beam. Also, there might be a 0 chance of using the thermal beam in the future if no equipment is being drawn.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
The well.
And we've seen that Schorn's hand is unit focused and unit heavy based on the quote traditional Master Yi that we've seen over the weekend. But that's kind of like the thing about a closed deckless tournament like this is if you only see Trinity Forces as like the winning combination from that game, you're like, well, maybe my opponent's running a weird list, right? Maybe my opponent's running an equipment-only focus.
But here you can see the impact of the bans. Instead of a Draven Vanquisher being played this turn, you have a Game Jammer and nothing else. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why there are 2 schools of building a new way of Draven, which is either including some 3 or 4 drops or just including more 2 drops instead.
This is Schorn saying, I want a card. I'm going to make you lose that Overzealous Fan one way or the other. There's no reasons for you to push me back unless you want to deny me a card. I'll take the trade. I'll get the unit. I'll get the card. And we can move on with the rest of our turn. Wouldn't be surprised to see Stellar Cornherder come down following this. And it's actually going to be a Desert's Call. Yeah,
Desert's Call with repeat for 2 units, which is nice. Now it's going to be able to utilize both directions of the battlefields here. And also because Kxmzzy had 4 resources open.
That's scary.
This turn. You didn't want to like even give him a chance of utilizing anything right now, which is kind of nice because Kxmzzy essentially wasted the turn 2.
Yeah.
Like he played the 2-drop, but doesn't really impact the game that much.
And I guess if you play Stellar Cornherder, you're vulnerable to like Falling Star if your opponent wants to take that choice.
I mean, you're still vulnerable to Falling Star over here.
But I don't. I mean, you do care about 2 things, but the comparison between losing a vital unit like a Stellar Cornherder is I think, the thing there.
Okay,
Tide Turner.
We're swapping the 2 drops. Not that that does matter much. And now, remember also that there's a Define in Hand of Schorn.
Okay.
So that's going to be something that is going to be very important to keep track of. And also remember that Falling Star cannot be defined.
Right, that
second power cost.
Second power cost makes it undefiable.
But Piercing Light is something that really doesn't like Defy at all.
And you got to know your ins and outs on that. You got to know which counter spell hits which thing, what you can't catch with the counter spells in hand. That's something that, again, for newer players, you've really got to drill that. You got to just play it again and again until you know it. Here we go. So it wasn't in hand at the beginning. So now will the Thermo Beam pay off? Because there's no equipment on the battlefield for Kxmzzy.
But that's very interesting situation because now Kxmzzy has to make a decision. Do I play Spinning Axe?
I do.
To win over the opponent, most likely, unless Schorn is going to buff his unit. But then, if you want to Thermal Beam this Trinity Force, your Spinning Axe is going to eat it as well.
But if Schorn wins this combat, Spinity Force?
I mean, yeah, if he's going to win the combat, it's going to die anyway
drop off, right?
because of
so
temporary.
Will Spinity Force will get out of there at that point. Punch! Wow, that
is a big commitment.
A big commitment, but that then shows you how much the Trinity Force strategy of holding in Schorn's mind is necessary.
Ooh, a reactive Ride the Wind.
Okay.
So we're using the Ride the Wind to move out our Tide Turner to the other battlefield.
Or to base. There was a tap in the back.
Right to base?
Right, yeah, it's the beneficial one of Charm to base. Yeah, will get brought back. Noting that Targon's Peak was conquered this turn. So this tells me Thermo Beam's not coming now. You wouldn't do this if you were going to blow up your Spinning Axe anyway.
Definitely not. But it is kind of interesting because you could attack the Forge of the Fluff. It would have been 5-4, forcing Schorn to use another spell.
I guess, are you all exhausted and therefore don't want to follow up something that then turns
I mean,
the corner?
your resources are pretty in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be at, after that right to win. If that attack would fail,
exactly,
you're gonna be at 6 resources, and you will have 2 and a 1 might unit in the base, not looking great into breaking potential defenses of a Master Yi. Because now we have a 4 defense on Forge of the Fluffed, and we have 6 defense on Targon's Peak, and 2 energy open for the Defy, and potentially for a Unguard or a Discipline, depending on what the opponent does. Now Kxmzzy has to play around all of those options. You have to now think about how do I sequence this to make sure that I don't fall into a trap of a potential Unguard, Defy, Unguard, Punch first, Defy, and Discipline.
I don't remember.
Did I miss something?
Possibly. I was too distracted by the runes and the units and the gear all being side by side. I'm like, I can see it. Luckily, I have the vision here, but if this was my board state, I'd be like, I can't handle this. I'm like, I need to move it around.
I definitely can understand this.
So some big cost things in hand for Kxmzzy. There's a Ferris Forerunner and a Thermo Beam, and as we said, you wouldn't save the Spinning Axe on the unit if you were just going to Thermo Beam immediately after.
I like the planning with the right to win, because if you're able to do the Conquer on Forge of the Fluff this turn with more reasonable positions maybe, then you can transfer the Spinning Axe after you conquer Forge of the Fluff, and then maybe go into the other battlefield as well. Yeah,
that's true. That is very true. And the showdown going to begin.
And we're pushing with 2 units. Very nice play, because the reason, in many other cases, you would probably attack 1 by 1. But because Draven wants to win the fight,
yes,
you have to win with at least 1 unit.
You want to get the draw.
Yes, you want to get the draw. And in this case, even if one of your units dies, it's okay, because you get the draw from the top of the deck.
Yeah, which is so different to the Azirs that we see that want to cascade the equipment from unit to unit. As you said, very different dynamic in how that plays out.
Schorn is thinking hard about this showdown. 7-4. What does he have? What would be? Oh, a Twonk for the 5 might.
Yeah.
And that is something that I didn't mention. See, I missed something. And Twonk is actually the worst case scenario, because the thing is, you cannot now transfer the Spinning Axe.
Yeah, but you don't conquer the battlefield, so you don't have control over it.
I mean, yes, you can.
And it's stuck on there as well. You're
and
right,
the unit didn't die, so the Spinning Axe is just sitting there, idling.
That's what you meant by it. Yeah, I understand what you mean on that. That's a very fair point. As again, the Master Yi static ability, let's call it that, potentially the legend ability, is going to give that Sand Soldier the +2. That's why it didn't end up trading. And for again, those of you that perhaps don't play against a whole lot of Master Yi, you've always got to remember that when you're defending alone, you're going to get that.
Look, I will tell you one thing: if you ever missed a trigger of the passive of Master Yi in one of your games, don't feel bad. I know pro players in our game who are missing it constantly.
You count up and you're like, yeah, I think I got everything. And move in, and your opponent's like, taps the legend.
Yeah, it happened more than you think at regional level at 10-1 boards.
Forced to transfer at that point by not really having any choice, as the Lonely Pro is going to go over to the battlefield. Sand Soldier will come back. Again, saying if you are going to conquer this battlefield, I'll get a card from it.
And we get 2 points from Trinity Force, by the way, this turn as well. So that is actually happening again.
Oh, I said forced to transfer. What I meant was the Spinning Axe was off the unit, but of course that will be temporary and dies at the beginning of the turn. So it does go over to the trash. Now it's just a Ferris Forerunner and a Treasure Hunter.
Rebuke is being as well drawn.
Oh, but none of these units, you don't really want to Rebuke. It's 2 Sand Soldiers. Yes, it's removable.
Sand Soldiers removed, and the
Trinity Force drops off, I
guess.
guess.
Resolve as well. You can attack with the Treasure Hunter to Targon's Peak and then use Rebuke mid-combat to see if your opponent... If they have a not so fast, well, unlucky. Yeah. But if they don't, then you will draw a card as well, because you do it mid-combat and you win the combat because of it. So that's one of the options that we are able to do as the Draven player. You can also just go and potentially trade, with the Sand Soldier that has the Trinity Force when you push with the Ferris Forerunner. Or you can just start the turn. Oh, a Judge Call will be now done, so we're going to be... let's talk a little bit of now.
Yeah.
So, potentially, you can also go into the combat and then pass. It's going to be 6 versus 6. Your opponent might do something, might play like a buff, and then you might just not respond, but the next, when you get priority, you can play your Thermal Beam and destroy the Trinity Force, right? Because it can be used as an action. And then essentially you negate the value of a potential buff with like a Discipline, for example, right? So you still end up trading. But the thing is, I don't know if this is worth it. Like, use again, just playing for this board state doesn't win you the game. You have to think ahead. It's like, what is the thing that I'm gonna do after this turn? And it doesn't, like any of the scenarios here doesn't look great.
Yeah,
it's literally the same as the previous game. Like, when you go here and you try to do something about the board state, like next turn is gonna be Master Yi.
Yeah, it is indeed. Thermo Beam does come through. We'll end up taking out the Trinity Force. So Schorn will not be able to jump up towards winning the game. I mean, that's a dangerous place to have been in because Schorn would have held to 8.
Yeah, that might be critical.
that Trinity Force had stayed. So I think that's another thing to consider there. That would have been a winning line from having the Lonely Power. Of course, you could have got the power off that battlefield, but still a dangerous situation for that Yi to come in and look at scoring the second point. Whereas now, Schorn has to wait at least another turn to try and represent lethal.
We also moved the Treasure Hunter to generate the gold, when you think about it, just because we're so low on resources when it comes to Kxmzzy, so he feels like he needs more.
I never feel like I wouldn't want more gold, if possible. Is this what you give for it? What is the what is the trade-off?
It's would be nice if the Treasure Hunter would generate real gold.
Well, if you're good enough with it at an RQ, it can.
Ah, okay, so it's printing money anyway.
Exactly. As these players are playing for, you know, they're playing to give themselves the best chance of making top 8. It is hard to know exactly with the current scores on the round, and we do feel like some of our players are going to be looking at tiebreakers to get in. As Master Yi comes out of the Chosen Champion Zone, Schorn is going to send everything.
Everything is going in.
At Targon's Peak.
Drawing first for the movement. That's a first mate, so it doesn't really matter that much. Now this rebuke
in hand, right? Yeah.
Is going to be a huge punch to the gut.
So that goes, I guess, on the E? Yeah. No Defy, because the second energy cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I was
it's
like,
not
no,
available.
Good.
Nope.
You know what you're talking about.
I got that one. That would have to have been a not so fast to have stopped that one.
Treasure Hunter dies for this entire exchange. That's the toughest Treasure Hunter I've ever seen in my life.
Just give me the gold. Just give me the 1 gold and get out of here.
But it took a 4-might hit. Now, the thing is, though, there is the Master Yi in the hand. By the way,
which card sleeve.
Is it? Technically, according to the rules, you have to like replace the sleeve now to match the rest of the deck. But not really that important, I would say.
I think it's pretty. At this stage, is obvious.
I think Kxmzzy might be onto it. That he has it in his hand, you know.
And have we had an effect that's like discard a card at random?
No, not yet.
Okay, I think when that comes in, then it'll be more important.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Titan.
Oh, another rebuke in hand.
That's pretty influential.
That is huge.
So I was thinking we were on Vilemores, but we're not. So Titurners are actually really useful at this point to move the Forerunner where you need it to be.
Hey!
Lothar,
I am sorry.
We don't affect the game.
My bad.
I think we all see what happened on the stream there as the green sleeve is being removed. I see. That is funny, though. And actually, it is a good point because part of it is information and it is a big glaring sign that the Master Yi hasn't been, discarded to trash.
It happens so often when you play Kxmzzy and you're just like, oh, I retreat my Kxmzzy, and then you're like, there's like a... You're holding the hand and there's just one sticking out. It's like, I'm here. Hello, I'm here.
Oh, what's in hand?
Oh,
who could know?
Did he shuffle it as well?
Yeah.
You will never know where it is.
I would leave it in the green sleeve and shuffle. Just be like, my opponent will never know. Never know. Oh,
how many cards do you have in hand? 4. Is there a Master Yi in it? You will never know.
If he doesn't show a Master Yi and ends up out of cards in hand, you know something else has gone wrong. It's funny, but it's part of being prepared for a tournament is having the correct, you know, sleeves, replacement sleeves, all that kind of thing for those that want to play. Oh,
actually, we're not leaving open. Never mind. Tide Turner.
Tide Turner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you essentially are swapping a 6 for a 7. I mean, you could reinforce what I'm talking about. You could reinforce the Targon's Peak with the Draven from base,
right?
Which would essentially be a 7 might.
Yes, because this version of Draven Showboat is going to get a point, get an extra might for every point you have. So currently at 4 for Kxmzzy, that would be, as you said, swapping 6 and 7.
That hand is clunky.
Yeah, there's a
2 not so fast at Defy, first mate, and a Master Yi.
And that means the Rebuke last turn, when it was only 1 rune available, that was the difference there between, you know, Rebuke cannot be defied, it can be not so fasted, but you have to pay the 2 for it, and it wasn't available.
Yeah, what are we doing now? Because playing the Master Yi, I mean, we're not in a problematic situation. I'll be honest with you. Schorn, I feel like, could just reinforce the battlefield by playing a huge unit on the Forge of the Fluft and retreat the Poro. And because of that, you're just setting up a lethal with your Master Yi there.
Now, we know there's another Tide Turner in hand, and that'll be played to bring the Ferris Forerunner back to the base and allow it to go then to the Forge of the Fluft with the Draven. So that is a lot of damage.
And unfortunately, you cannot not so fast a Tide Turner.
Right, because it's targeting the opponent's thing. So.
Imagine how broken that card would be if it would target opponent cards as well.
Yeah, that would be broken. I think that is likely to be the sequence here, as if that Yi falls, I think that is a lot of the presence that Schorn has on this game. Do we have to make him swap the sleeve back to the green one? No, that's not a real thing. I'm memeing.
Defy on the stack deck. Don't look for answers. Hard bargain.
Is it worth it though when your opponent's only got 1 rune up now? Because wouldn't you rather save the hard bargain for the punch first?
He already
if there is one.
Yeah, but he has already good answers in this against this board state within his hand. And if he would play a hard bargain, 3 runes are open, so you cannot play Tide Turn and Rebuke. So I feel like that's probably something that you want to avoid, so you just let this go through.
You're just like, yeah, that's fine, that's okay. Does he even have a hard bargain? No, it's a Tide Turner and a Rebuke.
No, Tide Turner and Rebuke.
Yeah. Sorry, I realized what you were saying on that.
So, but what you said before is still possible to be done. You can the Tide Turner.
That's...
oh, okay, he's just shortcutting.
It's shortcutting, a little bit of representing it a little bit unorthodoxly, but yeah, that will be what happened. Is the Ferris Forerunner, while ready, gets Tide Turned back to the base, will go from the base over to Schorn's battlefield of Forge of the Fluft with the Draven. Forerunner will be enough to overpower from there. Now holding a Rebuke, Kxmzzy is in a pretty good spot to hold both hidden cards. So we've seen 2 Tide Turners. Could be an Edge of Night, could be a Teemo.
Correct.
Could be a Switcheroo.
And that was a card drawn after winning the combat.
Exactly. So important to give another option now, knowing there's a Rebuke in hand, knowing now there's at least another Tide Turner for might.
And this Poro will now be useful because you can sacrifice it by going to Targon's Peak and 1, force the hidden card to be used.
Yes.
2, even if it dies, you still get to draw a card.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're starting with this. There's a pass.
This one's a Tide Turner because it was played earlier in the turn.
It's the Tide Turner. They can swap places. I was just joking about the Tide Turners, but yes, this can also happen.
This also can happen, which makes it kind of tricky, as Forerunner doing its best job of being at every battlefield at once.
Is there another unit alongside the first mate? Because the first mate is in hand.
Earlier we didn't see one.
Yes, and now we saw the Unguard. Schorn is shaking his hand.
There's a factory recall.
So most likely, there might be not another unit now. That's the first mate.
Does that mean Schorn passes the turn and it is going to be going up to...
Oh,
there is another first mate. So it depends on what the hidden card is. Did you say there was
both of them are a disaster. Because you cannot counter any of them.
But do you have enough with 3?
3 plus Unguard is 5. If it's a Teemo, it's dead. So you rebuke this and you essentially win the fight, but you can also just reveal the hidden card first.
Oh yeah, because you got a rebuke as well, so you win the fight. Yeah, exactly that. There's the rebuke is the other option to this that is clean. It just says rebuke the first mate out, but there's not so fast potentially available.
Yeah.
But then you have the hidden card. Every option just depends what that last one rune is used for from Schorn. If you follow it down that rabbit hole, which version comes out on top? Kxmzzy, really, it's the debate between rebuke or hidden card. It's rebuke. It's going to get revealed. Not so fast is going to follow this up, and that will force the hidden card.
Yeah.
And now it's just down to...
Is it a Teemo?
And it's also just down to what is...
Wait, what is going on? I'm just
surely you got to play the hidden card.
Yeah, surely.
It's a switcheroo. So it was...
Okay.
But now if there is a extra additional power here, if there's any combat trick, On Guard should put it up after the switcheroo has resolved.
Yep.
It's going to mean first mate will take down the Tide Turner. And now it's just what even can come through for this Forerunner. You have to get the Forerunner from one battlefield over to the other, or it's like an accelerated Kai'Sa. It's Ride the Wind, accelerated Kai'Sa, any unit that can come out, or a damage spell.
Accelerated Kai'Sa doesn't do it.
Because of the Master Yi. Yes, exactly. A damage spell would do it. I didn't see what came off the top. 2 Tide Turners were being played, so another Tide Turner would have done it. Right? Because you can play Tide Turner and exchange places and just do it again like he did before. What is that? There's nothing, no? No, it's a 2-drop. It's just, is that a...
yeah,
that's it.
Whoa, what a close match.
That was down to the wire. Impressive from Schorn. Just coming out of the gates from game 1, stacking the Trinity Forces, jumping up, and then playing around that last part of combat just enough to get over the line, make sure you could hold the next turn, force Draven to rely on the top of the deck, and it did not deliver as Schorn picks up a win in round 12.
With the mid-range Master Yi. That I got a lot of comments about how I'm wrong about saying that mid-range Master Yi is a good deck.
Vindication.
You know? Yeah, I am being vindicated a little bit because this is the 3rd mid-range Master Yi that is currently at top tables, and I put mid-range Master Yi in my A tier, like saying like this is really good deck right now in the meta game, coming after the bans. And you can also see how the bans actually affected the Draven.
I'm going to pull up your YouTube and leave good comments right now while we're on stream. I'll be like, Lothar was right, vindicated.
So, but you can literally see how the bans are affecting the Draven. The lack of really good curve on turn 2 was affecting both games. In game 1, we had a game jam. No, wait, that was the game 2 game jam. Game 1 was it? Can't remember anymore. But anyway, both turns were like half used. Essentially, so you're not putting a incredible amount of might like you had been before with Draven Vanquisher. Draven Vanquisher just represents a conquer against any 2-drop from the Master Yi.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a huge dynamic change when it comes to this particular matchup. This is why I think mid-range Master Yi is just so good right now, because it's not easy for any deck to break that hold when you're playing the 2-drops, right? And even if they break that hold of the 2-drops, they probably sacrifice a lot of resources for that because you have 4 might units on your battlefield. So it's a really well-positioned deck. Very happy to see it perform. And I would want to say well played by Schorn, although the Trinity Forces from the game 1 didn't end up biting him back as well when he forgot that they existed for a moment. But yeah, it was funny. It was an unorthodox game overall. It was. The game 1 was double Trinity Force.
And I think that really warps the way that best of 3 played out because of the battlefield changes to Draven. Like, Reaver's Row not being an option, a big hit for Draven, on top of everything else you were saying. And that's what, when we talk about the meta, yes, okay, Draven is still performing very well at the tournament in general, but it has to find different answers to before. Perhaps Draven's route to playing was a little too easy with the curve that was being played, the security that was being played, the consistency that the deck had. Whereas now you have to find different options, and we're finding a couple of other decks like the Master Yi there say, that's a really cool Forge of the Fluffed. What if I use that against you really well in game 1? So yeah, it's such an interesting dynamic of where we are in the meta right now. so many of the decks, though, there's a trend emerging, like Azir and Master Yi, these Sand Soldiers with additional capabilities, like the Master Yi Legend ability that is granting +2 on defense, surprisingly difficult to break.
Yeah, and also cascading your equipment is one of the biggest signs of this metagame, how it changed. Because Fight or Flight was directly affecting the possibilities of essentially cancelling the juggling of the equipment, because the unit just gets bounced back to base, still holds the swords and the shield, and be like, well, now I cannot give it to someone else. Like, I cannot give it to you, and now you cannot attack, right? We have seen this type of interaction when someone gets stunned. But the tools that are stunning people are definitely less flexible than Fight or Flight was, right? So it's a very interesting dynamic. We finally can see the full power of equipment cards because now they are just like shining. They are in the spotlight.
We needed to get that pesky Fight or Flight out of there. Just needed to go, and finally the equipment were able to shine. It has been a really cool set of games that we've had the fortune of casting for the last couple of days. That was the last Swiss round that Lothar and I will be bringing you, but we do have one more Swiss round left. That'll be after an interview and after a few more things. Let's throw it over to Blevin. Blevin says on the stage.
Yes, there's more than one of me here, but actually maybe it's just one. I'm Blevins, but I'm joined here with Schorn, who has just secured a win with Master Yi. Congratulations. How are you feeling? I can see it on you. How are you feeling after that win?
I can't. Well, I've got no impression. I'm still. It's a rough game. It was really good.
Yeah.
But still impressed of it. Got my whole team with it, and they also like partying for it. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. So Master Yi, I mean, if we look back at Origins, was one of the top decks for sure. And then it seemed like everyone sort of forgot about Master Yi and Spirit Forge. Bans happened. I didn't really see many people talking about Master Yi. What led you to this path?
I tried to grind it since day one. I tried to do the best with it, and just got a short intervention with Sivir for a month. But after it, I saw there's still a good place with it. There's still with punch first for the second thing, and not so fast. So there's big improvement. And also after the bans, when Kxmzzy gets stronger, Yi gets stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to worry about the fight or flights being in there. You can stop worrying about that. And one thing that I really love about Master Yi and these versions of it is the Trinity Force. I'm a Lucian player at heart, so I love a Trinity Force. Tell me about Trinity Force and Master Yi.
Okay, the first game was quite wild because I instantly get my Sand Soldier.
Yeah.
And next turn I got the Trinity Force, attached it with my battlefield.
Yep.
And the following turn I got it again. So got 3 holding points with it, and that was wild, really wild. But I'm happy it worked.
Yeah, and the Sand Soldiers, I saw you were running Desert's Call. That's not that's one that we've seen in a lot of the Master Yi decks, but not all of them. Has that been a really great card for you?
Completely. I think Yi got one big problem, and it's against yellow. When it got colder weeks, and I have to do something against it, so I put Desert Call in it, and it's sometimes that second turn the best thing to protect my king and queens.
Yes, the kings and queens being protected, but you're here at this event. You just got a massive win. When you were coming here to Lille, were you thinking this is where I'm going to be, or is this beyond your wildest imagination?
It's wild. It was my plan to do well, but not that well. I'm completely happy, really.
Yeah.
It's a big road. It's a big thing to do it on that way. So I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy.
Can't complain with that. And obviously, we saw you take down a Draven. What has your road been like so far? Have you seen a lot of Dravens, a lot of Aurelias? What has it been like?
Draven, Kxmzzy. So it's the third Draven, 2 Kxmzys, I think, 2 Victors.
Okay.
So it was quite the meter game.
Yeah.
But some other things. Like, I think my last match yesterday was Darius. The best of Darius. He was really good.
Yeah.
And so, quite good. But no Aurelia. So
no Aurelia yet. How do you feel about that matchup? Because I have to imagine, I haven't seen the exact spread right now. I have to imagine you're probably going to see it at some point if you keep winning.
Yeah. I'm happy that I didn't see it, because when I'm second, it's a bit worth about, I think, 40 45% win, and when I'm first, it's even getting better. But dice roll a bit.
Right, dice roll. Well, you've won a number of dice rolls in dodging the Irelia. Is that sort of the worst matchup for you, or are there other ones that you're like, oh please, don't be my next opponent?
I think my worst matchup is really Leona when I see her. It's really uncommon, but we got a Leona player on our locals, and she throws all the stuns at me, and I'm like, okay, I can do anything.
You're doing so well at the RQ, but because you played at your locals, you're like, oh, this deck's not that good. I keep losing my Nexus Knight. But it turns out Leona has not done not done
I'm
well.
a bit happy that that's good.
Now, obviously you're doing great in this event. Master Yi, are your eyes set on Master Yi for Unleashed? Have you even thought about that yet?
Yeah, I thought about it. There's some very good new cards for it. So, like the new Nami, it's perfect for it. You've got stun, it can make things ready, and a buff, and also Rengar to put it in. And I think maybe I'll play it for the third set also.
Yeah. Are you going to still play the same Master Yi, or are you looking at the new one?
No, I want to stay for the old year. I think
nice.
It's the OG one. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's done well so far. It's continuing to do well for you here. Now, if you had to pick your path up through the top 8, what would you want to see coming up?
I would like to see some Kaisers first to make it a bit easier probably, but no, it's still a hard matchup, of course, and when there's the Watcher and I don't got a Trunk, it's always hard. Yeah. But first Kaisers would be happy, Draven would be good, and maybe Irelia for the last. We'll see.
Yeah, just to prove that you were there for it, but that is absolutely fantastic. Any other last thoughts you have? Any shout-outs you want to give?
I'm happy for doing that big event here. I'm happy that you do it so professional here, and want to see you next time again.
Yeah, well,
perfect.
Really appreciate that, Schorn. Thank you so much for this interview, and congratulations. I'll let you go get ready for your next round, but we're going to send it back to the desk.
Cheers.
Thank you, professional singular Brelevin. We're like, I love that people are saying like they're so professional, and I'm here forgetting my co-caster's name. It's James Salota here, ready to show you. I lied, by the way. That's how professional I am. I lied and said we were done. We actually have a second feature match to round out for this round. So apologies if you were hoping to see the back of us for the
again,
first round.
Okay, nice.
And another Master Yi, Barczak, and we just heard about this matchup from our players in the interview, where less than 3 Uwu is on the Kai'Sa, which we just heard him talk about. Master Yi is Schorn talked about how good Master Yi into Kai'Sa can be.
It is. It was a good matchup in set one as well. No, sorry, not set one. If you were playing mid-range Master Yi in set 1 already with like a lot of deflect units, it probably was not the choice.
Yeah.
Right, but in set 2, it was definitely something possible already, and because of that, was really bad matchup for the Kai'Sa. And here, unless the Kai'Sa build that we're gonna see here is gonna be more unit-oriented, you're not gonna see a lot of we're not gonna see a great matchup for less than 3. Oh.
We could nickname them Heart if we wanted to, but that would be...
That is not a good opening. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you've got way more important things to say.
That is not a good opening. I was thinking like, maybe that Stupefy is there to like activate a Noxus Hopeful, maybe?
But it was just to card draw?
Yeah, just to card draw and pass. So what do we have here? We have a Smokescreen, a Watcher, a Falling Star, a Brynn here, I'm not certain what else is there. But overall, with this kind of start, your chances are really looking bleak, because now Master is just running away with holding a field and just reinforcing it. And because of the lack of pressure from Kai'Sa early on in the game, Master most likely is gonna will be able to build up his resources. When Master Yi builds up resources, it's kind of similar to like a Irelia. You don't want to play against a Irelia that has like seven open all the time.
And that's a Ruin Runner, right? That's a Punch First and Ruin Runner, I think?
Punch First and a Ruin Runner. So we're thinking about setting them up on the top of the bottom, depending on how important they are. And Ruin Runner is helpful
Pretty good against Kxmzzy, yeah, exactly. So much of Kxmzy's interaction is based on targeting. Looks like Ruin Runner's going to the top. In the current way, it looked like Barczak was about to put those cards back.
The punch first is not yet that important because you are most likely not being under pressure for the next turn as well.
And it's action speed, right? So it's not just like answer everything.
It's not going to be helpful against a Falling Star, not going to be helpful against a Singularity, for example, as well. Get excited is a possibility depending on which kind of build of Kxmzzy we have. And that's a retreat. Oof.
Ooh, that is not what you want to see when you don't have the units there. Of course, Kxmzzy is available from the champion zone, and sometimes you do just have to do that.
Yeah, I was look. I was not trying to like question the turn 2 play because I was thinking the Stupefy is there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But we could have just played the Kxmzzy on turn 2.
But then, I guess, are you concerned of like a charm coming through?
Yes, of course, that's always a consideration.
Okay.
But the thing is, what if there's no charm? And
yeah, is it better to do the thing and
your hand was really bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad. And
because you are getting one card from that situation. Yeah.
So accelerated Kxmzzy gets the point, gets a card draw, but now is stuck on the Vilmor's lair. And, by the way, it's so funny, I never somehow connected it, but this is literally Vilmor's lair, the unit that we're going to be getting and Unleashed.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
How did I not connect those dots?
They're different stats, it's fine.
Okay, right. Or I cannot read.
Fair. It happens to the best of us. I'm sure something like that is going to be the case for me too. And there actually is a charm, I think, in hand. Yeah, there is one. So if we didn't quite catch the hand at the beginning to note, but had that charm been in hand at the beginning, that would have been a very difficult scenario to play the Kxmzzy out into. And when that does happen, Kxmzzy really struggles. So now Stupefy into Hextech Rate.
That's going to clear the battlefield.
Of course, as a reminder, you don't get the Yi bonus if you're not defending. So if there is no showdown happening, you just have the might printed on the card plus the equipment of the GA that was there.
Now the retreat will actually come in handy after the attack from potentially the Ruin Runner trying to to just destroy the Kxmzzy and the Vilmor's lair. And the Ruin Runner, like holding a Vilmor's lair, that is a fine unit to have there. Like you're not really being punished by anything, and you cannot be destroyed by spells, so it doesn't matter if the spell is targeting battlefield because Ruin Runner cannot be targeted. Now, Rearguard is not a unit that we often see in a Kxmzzy deck, but it's a reasonable addition. Also, specifically, is more useful in decks that do play a lot of equipment, for example. Because you have, like in Lucian, you're going to see some Rearguards because they are able to utilize the equipment that otherwise would be maybe standing there still. Defy or Notify? Notify. Kxmzzy, oh, does he have
the same sleeve, right?
Does she have the same sleeve?
It's there. Like the outline looks like it's correct. That's an interaction. Just again for newer players, I like to give some things that perhaps you don't always see. First of all, retreat puts the card to hand, so Vilmor's Lair's effect does not prevent that from happening. Vilmor's just prevents going back to base only. So
correct.
Very basic point that we've seen many times with Kxmzzy, but always good to refresh on the very basics of the game. For those of you that are joining us for the first or first few times, welcome if you are. Hope you're enjoying Riftbound so far. What you won't be enjoying if you're a Kxmzzy player is your opponent having 2 Ruin Runners because they cannot be targeted.
2 Ruin Runners, they are totally secluded, like they cannot be affected by any spell from Kxmzzy, but they can be affected by your own spells and abilities. So you can still play anything that you want, Discipline, Unguard, bring like more might to those units.
And that makes it really difficult when this second Ruin Runner maybe goes to Candlelit Sanctum eventually, or if you're holding both battlefields with Ruin Runners. In the Yi deck, they're 7. in the showdown, right? So that's already difficult. That matches Darius plus a card, depending on what the card is, if Kxmzzy is in fact running that. So it matches some of the higher end. Now, the one card that will dig you out of that spot is Thousand-Tailed Watcher, because that effect does go around the side of the Ruin Runner's effect, because it does not target. So a Watcher is exactly what is coming now. So we'll be able to get through the one Ruin Runner with relative ease, and then the first mate will also fall to the Legion rearguard.
Well, not exactly, because you're getting to one
the
but
Yi is going to add after.
The Yi passive is going to be only mattering when it's in combat.
You're so right. I even warned myself about that to begin to begin this game.
So now we're going to have a 7-4, and now the punch first is making a difference. It's going to be a 9-7.
And just even the Watcher.
Oh, actually, sorry, 8. Is it 8? Should be 9, no?
I think you just retreat the Watcher regardless, right? And you just say,
Defy on the second retreat. Now, I unfortunately cannot remember if that second Defy was already in the hand, but if this Defy was in the hand on the previous turn when the Kai'Sa was being retreated and we didn't see it used, that is such a heads-up play by Barczek over here, because it would mean that he understands what can happen to his Ruin Runner, what is the lose condition over here. This is... I would really, again, I'll have to check if he had it in the hand before, but if he did that choice while having it, and that was a heads-up play, that is really showcasing how much he understands this matchup, because the Watcher is the thing that will be affecting his board state the most. Nothing else is as important as the Watcher here.
The good news for less than 3 is that there is another Watcher in hand. Correct. So that retreat would have basically represented a third Watcher that needs to be answered, but there is still a second. So it is now down to Barczek to find enough of an answer. We just saw one punch first, deramp, but weather through the storm and take one out. Trinity Force is, I'm trying to do the math, would help, but you'd still be one short, I think,
you're
on
at
Watcher.
7, then you're going to get to 4, and then you're going to go up to 6.
Yes, you're one short compared to Watcher alone.
But the thing is, now we have a lethal on board.
Oh, and there's another punch
3.
first.
I'm not certain if there's.
I saw it in Barczek's hand.
Okay, well then that is a
pretty
big
sure.
problem. And less than 3 has to find a solution to this entire debacle over here. And it could have been maybe the Trinity Force could have gone over as well to the first mate, to like put a win condition on the first mate as well, because you want to kill the Ruin Runner with your Watcher, right? Again, replay the Watcher, kill the Ruin Runner, but then if you do that, you cannot allow the first mate to live, because the first mate just wins the game by the hold with the Trinity Force. But now the puzzle that less than 3 has to solve is we can kill the Ruin Runner, and we can allow the first mate to live.
I guess the thought process here is there is only one answer to this Ruin Runner, and it is the Thousand-Tailed Watcher.
That is correct.
Whereas first mate would die to a Falling Star, even with Trinity Force, so that would deny that lethal line. Here's that punch first comes through,
that's it.
And the fist bump comes through as well. For Barczek, is going to go up to 11-1. Punch first goes onto the Ruin Runner with the Trinity Force. That'll be enough to hold.
That is incredible now. 11-1.
Master
with
Yi
the
looking
mid-range
good.
Master Yi. Master Yi is making a resurgence over here. Like, really making a splash.
Truly is, as Barczek does get the win in this game, and that will round out our round 12 for us, as Barczek knows his stuff with TCG history from that deck box, is all I'll say. Those are the players you got to be afraid of. The ones that show up with that deck box
like
that is
really worn out.
And specifically that one as well. When you
I had the same deck box like 20 years ago, like 18 years. No, 18 years ago, I would say, something like that.
That strikes fear in the hearts of those of you that know in TCG competitive scene. That is going to be our final one from round 12. Again, Master Yi, I think, really showing in some of these top table matchups the pressure that it can apply by holding, which is very different to what we've known. We've known it to be all about kind of attacking and combat in Spirit Forge. Now we're a little bit in holding.